You're looking live at the U.S. Capitol this morning, a political battleground in the fight over the federal government's debt ceiling. It's pitting familiar adversaries against one another again.
Democrats want to raise the debt limit, no questions asked. Republicans want big spending cuts if they raise the government's debt limit of $31.4 trillion. President Biden continues his stance for no compromise on the issue as of now.
Joining us live this morning with perspective on this mounting partisan confrontation is Theo Meyer, a national political reporter for the Washington Post. And Theo, it's nice to have you with us. Good morning.
Glad to be with you. Good morning.
So when you look at this, help us understand, what does it mean to hit the debt ceiling? Is that a bad thing? And what happens to Americans if we hit it and go beyond that?
So the debt limit is a cap on how much the federal government can borrow in total that periodically needs to be raised as the federal government accumulates more and more debt. This is not related to, spending on new programs. This is not a fight over appropriations and funding the government. It is simply raising a, sort of imaginary limit on how much the government can borrow. So, yes, hitting the debt limit, most economists, virtually all economists, agree would be very bad for the country. It would possibly mean that the United States would be unable to pay its bills anymore and could result in a credit downgrade, an economic crisis, or, even worse outcomes.
So, Theo, what does this back and forth look like in the divided Washington that we have right now?
So it's clear roughly when the federal government will need to raise the debt limit. It's probably going to happen sometime this summer, but it's not clear exactly when it is going to happen. The Treasury Department has already warned that the debt limit will need to be raised perhaps no later than June, but there's no, one date that lawmakers can point to. So after, securing the majority, House Republicans are in a standoff with President Biden over whether to negotiate at all, over, sort of conditions for their votes to raise the debt limit, or whether, as the White House has demanded, they should simply raise the debt limit, no questions asked, no negotiations, because of the dire consequences of not doing so.
Theo, one of the key ultra-conservatives in this fight joined us here on the show yesterday. We talked with Republican Congressman Ralph Norman, who's from upstate South Carolina. He gave us a laundry list of cuts that he and other Republicans want to make. Take a listen.
My job as a budget committee is to put forth a plan for all Americans to see on cuts. We have got to start a trajectory of cutting spending. For any new spending, we've got to have a dollar for dollar offset. And it's, Jason and Ed White, it's common sense things that we can easily address, like putting food stamp work requirements, like tax credit for illegals, $73 billion doing away with, like the Department of Education teaching CRT, $18 billion, foreign aid to other countries, $26 billion.
And so as we listen to that, Theo, the Republicans are saying, hey, we got to make cuts to a lot of these different programs that are out there in order to balance the budget. How do you balance the budget and not affect these programs and also not affect what's going to happen to Americans?
Well, Republicans have been united in, calling for some sort of fiscal concessions from the Biden administration in exchange for their votes of raising the debt limit. What they're not united in is what exactly they want. There's, sort of a spectrum of ideas from, setting up committees to figure out how to shore up the Social Security trust funds, for instance, all the way toward, moving toward more balanced budgets. There are various ways to do that. Or, as Congressman Norman outlined, cutting specific programs that do not contribute very much at all to the deficit, but that conservatives, have long been critical of.
We know the president met with top Democratic leaders yesterday. When do you think that the president will invite Republicans to sit at the table and actually have these conversations to hopefully reach agreement?
Well, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has been, pressing Biden to sit down with him to discuss this. It does seem that Biden is going to meet with McCarthy relatively soon, although I don't believe a date has been set yet. But that is merely the opening salvo in what could be a long, protracted standoff here. And of course, Biden, simply taking a meeting with McCarthy, does not mean that he is necessarily negotiating over the debt limit.
You mentioned, Theo, a while ago that the GOP not necessarily all on the same page here about how to balance the budget. We know that recently we heard from former President Trump. He threw his 2 cents in and he said, quote, don't touch a single penny from Medicare or Social Security. So those are his thoughts on it. What do you think that's doing to the Republicans? How are they dealing with that quote, you think?
Well, I think there are certainly some Republicans who, do not want to see cuts to Social Security or Medicare. I think Republicans would say that they want to see changes made to these programs that would shore them up for the long term, that would put the trust funds that fund parts of them in better shape for the long haul. But there are a variety of ideas for, exactly how Republicans can approach this. And, not all Republicans are on board with demanding concessions at all. I spoke with Congressman Patrick McHenry briefly, Republican of North Carolina, last night, and the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. He pointed me back to the statement that he had made in an interview in December, in which he said he preferred to see, pushing for spending cuts and, the necessity of raising the debt limit sort of decoupled, that Republicans should deal with them separately and not put the nation's credit at risk by holding the debt limit hostage.
We are certainly going to be hearing a lot about this in the coming days, weeks, and maybe even months as the debt ceiling showdown continues. Theo Meyer from the Washington Post, thanks so much for being here with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.